Hi,
All right.
Jillian.
Hey, how are
Hey
you?
Jillian, how you
Hey,
doing?
I'm really good. Thank you guys. Thank you everyone. I am so excited about this and I know it's a little bit different than the other interviews, but so I appreciate you taking the
No.
time and
Unique in the
uh
best way.
thank you. Yeah, so I've obviously had the pleasure of speaking with Kimiko before, but Luke, yeah, Jillian, founder of Sharks for Kids, marine biologist, live in the Bahamas, spend a lot of time with sharks. And
Amazing.
Sharks for Kids, we teach kids all over the world about sharks. So um, kids obviously love Baby Shark, love the movie, love the show. And I think one of the things I'd like to just start with is the impact. So it's obviously a really fun, amazing, family friendly movie. I watched it with my daughter. I would have watched it without if I didn't have a daughter. I'll be honest. And so I think, it's really powerful. I speak to thousands of kids all over the world every year, and it doesn't matter where they're from. If I bring up baby sharks in my lessons, which I do, there's always a kid, and I watch,
Mm.
that starts mouthing the lyrics, nudging their friend, doing this. So it's a movie, it's iconic, it's beautiful, it's fun, it's all that, but it's also really powerful because it's a positive message for sharks. And I think
Mm.
maybe you guys don't think about that. I hope you do, but probably most people don't, is how positive it is for sharks in general, because there's a lot of bad press for sharks. They need a
Mhm.
better PR team, honestly.
Yeah.
They really do. So I just want to highlight that for you guys. First off, is it's something much bigger than the movie. It transcends kind of culture and language. These are kids all over the world, and they know. And I think that's really special. So to start off for both of you, I'll ask the same question, but we'll rotate. And maybe I'll start with you, Kimiko. Have you guys ever swam with a shark, seen a shark in an aquarium, gone diving with a shark? Have you had that encounter yet in life? Have you gotten to experience that?
Not yet. I've always wanted to. I think that's like part of the reason why I got in touch. Actually, Jillian and I have talked for years when I started doing Baby Shark. Um, I just thought like it was fascinating when I looked into it. I was like the statistics for like you hear shark attack or whatever in the news, and you think like it's gonna be this like it's this common thing, but actually it's incredibly uncommon. And it got me really into like the underwater world, just like learning about all this and ocean
Mhm.
preservation and ocean conservation, and what's going on down there. So I would love to. Part of me is slightly scared still, just because of like the bad PR team that sharks
Mm-hmm.
have. But yeah, it's something I've always thought would be cool.
Oh, and what about you, Luke?
I haven't had the opportunity to swim with sharks yet. And I weirdly, especially because I play William, a fish, I don't do that well in water. Having said that, I did have the opportunity a few years ago to go to an indoor scuba dive in Dubai. And it was one of the most incredible, or incredible, really, experiences of my life. And had I not pushed myself to do that, I would never have known. And so I think it's the same thing with sharks. It's like, no, I think it's going to be a life changing experience, which is something that I'm afraid of, but I think I really should lean into.
Mhm.
So, Jillian, hopefully, I come to the Bahamas and you can make that happen.
Yeah.
Yes, I think we have a new mission, is get you guys to the Bahamas. Um,
Yes.
and the one thing about here is we have, sharks in ankle deep water, little sharks. I was actually out this morning. That photo you saw was we were out this morning with lemon sharks. And one of the really cool things about lemon sharks, and they're kind of a little bit older than babies, but a little bit bigger, is they're born alive. They're connected to their mom with an umbilical cord. So they have a belly button, which is pretty fun. And we know from spending time they have personalities. So yes, and when people
Oh.
think sharks, they definitely don't think personalities.
Mm-hmm.
So do either of you, your characters that you
Mm-hmm.
voiced, Luke, anything in
Yes.
common? Were you able to be a little bit, did you get to play into that? Anything in common with the personality of your character?
Oh, completely. Yes. And I think that, you know, hopefully I bring something of myself to every character. I think it just happens naturally. The thing that caught me by surprise was that it was almost like the writers knew me when they knew that William had such a sweet tooth. And
Mm.
so it's kind of the thing of, this makes perfect sense. And I do get that excited about candies. Like, I've got a whole cupboard full of them over there. There's like gummy bears in there. There's twin cherries. I've got Cadbury's cream eggs, chocolates. Like, there's just the whole range that you can imagine lives in my cupboard, and I'm very excited about it every day. So yeah, William's sweet tooth, I totally share. And also I think just like him really riding for his friend, like that's how I am in friendships too. And I love kind of playing that out on camera. And my friend groups, like everyone's just so different, and that's why I love William and Baby's relationship, their friendship, because Baby's a shark, William's a pilot fish. Like they're just like chilling, and all of their friends are different underwater creatures. It's like how we move, or how I like to move in the real world. So all of that. Sorry, I know that was such a long-winded question, but that's really filled my heart today. Thank you.
Oh, God. And Kimiko, you and Baby Shark, anything in common?
I mean, yeah, I feel like Baby came so naturally to me, and I think so much of that is his willingness to like be playful and go on an adventure and become a spy and solve a mystery or put on a hat and become a completely different person, or fishy. And I think like that's something I personally love doing and like pushing myself to do. I love to dress up. I love to like go have new experiences and like see the world and have adventures. So that just like having that element at the start and finish of my week, which is when I have my baby shark sessions, like it just such a reminder of like that part of my spirit. You know, it keeps that alive for me.
All right, so I was really excited in the movie to see a lot of different species of shark featured. The lantern shark, very, very excited about. Not a common, you're not seeing them on all the major shows. Do you guys, so Kimiko, do you have a favorite species of shark? Or maybe you didn't before, but maybe now you do because you've played these roles?
You know, I truly do love the Lantern Shark character. Like Chloe Feynman really brings Lanny to life, and just like the like incapableness of like in containing herself is just so adorable. And I know that's like a wild like animated expression of this particular shark, but I just found her so endearing, and I hope the audiences do as well.
What about you, Luke?
For me, I think my favorite, just because it's so different, is a hammerhead shark. I could just watch them all the time. They're just so fascinating to me. And there is a hammerhead shark featured in our film, which is available on March 5th on digital. But hammerhead sharks are they just look so different to any other type of shark. And I like individuality.
Yeah, maybe this is a silly question, but how do you know how hammerhead sharks got to be that shape?
Yeah.
Well, they're actually one of the more newer sharks as far as evolution goes. And it actually does serve a purpose. I did like in the movie how they're hammering like that. I get kids ask all the time, and it would be awesome if they did that. But it's called the cephalofoil. It actually has its own name. It's so specialized. Their head is called the cephalofoil, and they're my favorite animal on the planet, by the way. And we get to dive with them here, which is really, really special. And they have these ampullae that fill the kind of their face, and they can feel fish and stuff in the sand. And those eyes out wide, you'd think, oh, they can't see very well. They can see all the way around, above and below. Super powered. They are a super powered shark. In my opinion, the most amazing animal on the planet. Yes. So yeah, they're absolutely incredible. But with all that, amazingness and superpowers, they're actually a critically endangered species. So at least the
Oh
great hammerhead's the biggest.
no.
Yeah. So even something as putting them on the show, right? Kids know it. They know it's an iconic species, but having that on there and having that kind of playful part of it, I think was really, really cool. And you spoke about like Lanny as well. It can be exaggerated. It can be fun, but it still gets kids excited. So,
Yes. Yeah.
so you've seen characters on the movies, you know, does that make you want, if you were going to dive with a shark or snorkel, is there a species, Luke, that you would want to see in the wild?
Sharks in particular,
Yeah,
species
just
of
what
shark
is
or
there a
just
species
anything?
of shark? If you could go out snorkeling tomorrow or diving, try it. What is there a species of shark that you would love to see?
Well, after hearing everything you've said, I want to see a hammerhead shark today, actually. Like once we're done, I need to do some more research because it's fascinating.
Yeah.
I'll be curious if someone has, made some kind of digital rendering or something of what they see and like how they see, like what that would look like.
Yeah, there's been research done on it, and I mean, if you do want to see them, Bimini, where I am, is the only place in the world that we know that you can come see more than one on a dive. They're normally solitary, the great hammerheads. And we have
Oh,
them
okay.
named here. My favorite is Scylla, just like this is Joker. Joker's the tiger shark that has a scar on her mouth like the Joker. And
Yeah.
Harley is her sidekick, Harley Quinn, the shark.
Oh.
So yeah, they have names. Their names. Yeah, so definitely Bimini is a place. What about you, Kimiko? Any shark you'd love to get in the water with?
Well, this might be particular to me, but I would be so fascinated to see any sort of baby shark in the wild. Sort of all species of the baby sharks. I mean, who doesn't love like a young animal? They're so sweet and so cute and so like pure. I mean, babies of any sort, but like a baby shark, especially because like sharks can have this bad rap and seem so scary, but like a baby like is so innocent, and I think like it would be fun to just sort of swim with the baby sharks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
people would be surprised too how small they are and how vulnerable they are. And yeah, it is amazing. And I don't expect people to always love sharks, but I do think it's important for kids, and hopefully they influence their parents and the adults in their life, which they do, to get excited. And when you have a small animal, right? Everyone, oh, look at the kitten, the puppy. But I think it's cool if kids can feel that way about sharks. Maybe they're not as cute, they're not
Totally.
soft, they're not meant to be pets, but we can still, go, oh, that's a really cute animal. So
Right.
yeah, I think, yeah. And baby sharks, we have lots of baby lemon sharks here. We can definitely, and I like to think of baby lemon because the color and stuff. So I always kind of think of that. Um, what, uh, you know, knowing now the movie's been out, right? And it's a very iconic piece. So is there a message that you hope that kids might take away about sharks or just the oceans in general and animals? Is there something that they enjoy the film, it's fun, families enjoy it, but is there something deeper? Like, do you hope there's a message beyond just like friendship and the things you kind of spoke about, Luke, your character, adventure, helping each other, that, but is there something about, in particular, about sharks in the oceans that you hope kids take away? Kimiko, you want to start first?
Yeah, I think like it's so not underexplored, but I think the beauty of like the entertainment industry is it brings you into a world. And I think like when you're able to live in that world, you start to empathize and have compassion for the characters. And I think like all the underwater creatures, like I think we tend to forget about because we're on land, they're under the sea. And so just paying attention, because the ocean is such a big part of our climate and plays such a huge role in like the ecosystem of our entire world. So like having an awareness of that and making sure to like be understanding of like protecting our oceans and like and caring for what's going on down there is so important and impactful. And hopefully it like encourages kids to get curious about what's under there, under the surface of the water, and have a passion for it, and be able to understand and care for what's going on down there.
Yeah. that curiosity, I think, is key because, you know, like so far in the TV series, we've stayed in Carnival Cove the entire time. And in the film, we get to explore Chomp City, which is this huge, massive new place. And I think a lot of people aren't aware that, I mean, the ocean takes up most of the planet, essentially. And so, Baby and his family getting to explore new territories, it just lets us know that there's so much more that we need to explore, or you know, just is existing. And Baby interacts with all these different characters or new types of sharks in Chomp City. And I think that's, you know, that inspires people to do research, and kids be like, well, what kind of shark is that, or what kind of animal, like sea creature is that? Because me working on this show, they'll have different creatures that come in, and I'll have to research them before we record the episode because I had never seen an angelfish. What was it? Not an angelfish. It was like
Lemon.
a. They look like maybe it's called an angelfish. Like a, I think it's like an angel something.
Mm.
But it was this
Goldfish.
character. What did you say, Kamika?
Goldfish.
No, it doesn't
No.
look like a fish at all. It's like this
Mm.
kind of like undulating, like magical looking creature. And
Mhm.
so I had to look it up.
Mhm.
And I was like, whoa, these things really do exist down there that are so far from like what my imagination could build out in this world. And so
Mhm.
I think it inspires, or I hope that it inspires kids to want to know more. Because I
Mhm.
even hearing, I'd never heard of a lemon shark until you mentioned it today, Julia.
Mhm.
So thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's so many little characters in Baby Shark that am like, I look up, like a tardigrade. I was like, what is that?
Yes.
And then I recently sent Serena and Whitney, who's the showrunner and the voice director, I think like it was like a slug fish or something, and like it's the coolest looking thing. I'm like, put this in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really cool, like learning about everything that's down there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are over 500 different species of shark. And I
Wow.
think, yeah, so I think people know tigers, great hammerheads, white sharks, great
Mm-hmm.
whites. And so I think it's really interesting that, yeah, other species are being shown, like a lantern shark. That I don't think that there's probably ever been a cartoon lantern shark before. I guarantee it probably doesn't exist. So that is, I was, as a marine biologist and like someone who works in shark research, I was very excited about that. Um,
Yeah.
so you talked a little bit about that. So did you do any different, Kimiko, did you do any different research for these roles? Like you touched on it, and we obviously chatted as well, but was there a different approach to it? Or is it, nope, this is, you know, as an actor, this is what we do, but was there a bit of a different approach to kind of be, you know, more well-versed in, yeah, what is this animal?
I think just getting into the world, I started doing my own research about like the ocean and everything, and I think I had already touched on that, but that's sort of like I got really obsessed with ocean documentaries.
Mhm.
Um, and it was like amazing and also a little bit bleak. And I really like, you know, absorbed so much information that first year I was doing it, and I found it so enthralling and so interesting. Um, but yeah, I think like by doing this show, you just continue to learn about like what's
Mhm.
actually
Mm-hmm.
like there's so much. There's like endless. I mean, there are things we haven't even discovered down there. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that sort of fascination with it is, I mean, like definitely helps the world.
Totally. Totally. And
And
for me,
you,
it's like I think just a lot of environmental things I had to research and understand. I'm always asking questions as to, okay, what kind of space are we in? How, like, thinking about how maybe my voice is traveling through the ocean at this point, and what this water warp is going to look and feel like, and that's going to inform like my performance essentially. And so you're kind of having to work in a very new environment that we don't live in. So it's kind of, again, like Kimiko, just like watching how fish move under the ocean and the kinds of spaces that they like to live in and how they interact physically with one another. That kind of stuff that really informs how we get to play.
Yeah. Well, I just want to thank you both again for the time, and I hope there's a sense of pride for both of you. Obviously, again, amazing movie, but it is something so much bigger, and you really are ambassadors for these animals, ambassadors for the oceans. And so I just want to finish with, we do normally do this, but I'm going to have you guys, because we talked a lot about hammerheads. This is what we do when we see a hammerhead underwater. So
Yeah.
you guys to do that one. All right. And we will do one quick fins up. All right, just quick up. All right. And thank you both so much for taking the time. And I hope to see you both in the Bahamas with some sharks.
Absolutely.
I
Thank
love
you,
that.
Jillian. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.